Hey folks, it's Maxie here and welcome to another TEW2020 video. You join us today, 1 year on. It's our first pay-per-view that we were doing for a second time, and it gives us a first chance to look back and see if we can better what we done back then. Backlash 2020 was at the Harvard Stadium in front of 28,721 fans. We're definitely going to beat that, which is good actually. We're going to smash that, and I'm hoping we can try and smash that show rating of a 79. What I find interesting as well is of the many people in the main matches, barely any of them feature tonight. Edge versus Randy Orton, Roman Reigns defeating Braun Strowman and The Fiend Bray Wyatt, King Corbin defeating Goldberg, and Drew McIntyre defeating Bobby Lashley. Only Drew out of all of them features on tonight's card. Thank God I turned off morale for people not being on pay-per-view, just giving other people opportunities, and all the bigger names will obviously feature when creative has something for them, and of course when it is the Big Four event. So it's just been tricky to book The Fiend, it's been tricky to book Roman, because I want to book him as strongly as WWE does in real life, but he's pop capped, which puts us in an interesting position. The reason I say it puts us in an interesting position is because we are so close to becoming a Titanic company. We literally need one area in Canada to do well, and that will take us to the next level. However, a couple of bits of failure will see us drop not down to one, but right down to medium level. So quite a drop, and it's as soon as I make that kind of change to one of those two, which is when I eventually want to change the product to classic balance, which will take 9 months and restrict growth. So it is an interesting time where I'm just hoping to either get to one of those two levels, and then we'll change the product to exactly as it is with NXT. So you can see today we're on the various networks, WWE and the various pay-per-view networks, and we're booking the show from Fort Worth, Texas, expecting 43,178 fans in attendance. So before we crack in, as always, thanks for watching, it's much appreciated. You know what to do if you want to get social, and if you want to buy the game, check out some mods, check out other people's content. Description below is the best way to get to those places. So without further ado, let's crack into this year's Backlash Pay-per-View. So good to see we get 42,500 nearly at Fort Worth, Texas. It's been weird, most Raws and SmackDowns have been kind of starting with a strong angle, which is usually getting in the high 90s, which puts a lot of pressure off the main event, because I'm rating my shows basically on one of my highest angles, mostly on that, and my highest match as well, on my pay-per-view, sorry. Main event, I don't know what I'm going with that by. So the main event and the highest angle are kind of what we're rating on. So it's easier on pay-per-view because you can start that with, in a TV show, because you can start that with a hype sports entertainment angle. But you don't really do that in pay-per-view, and we want to keep it realistic. So we just had the usual hype package, pyrotechnics starting the show, hyping our main event for the WWE Championship as Andrade defends that in triple threat action against Drew McIntyre and Adam Cole. That's a 71. Opening contest of the evening had good heat and decent wrestling, and it saw Jay White defeat Seth Rollins in 21-10 with a Blade Runner. Really want to give them a lengthy match up here. The segment rating being a 66 is a bit disappointing, but it was to give Jay a kind of good spotlight to start with as he's joined the WWE, and Seth's been trying to take him into the Disciples of Rollins faction, but Jay White's having none of it. Did have to keep Seth strong to keep him happy, but overall a good win for Jay White, and hopefully that can get him up, because his overness isn't so great in the US, so I kind of want to try and work on that, and I felt like Seth was a good introduction to WWE life. Next up, basically he celebrates his victory, but the Disciples of Rollins join him with Seth Rollins to beat him down. So we have Seth, Murphy and Austin Theory, the US champion, beat down Jay White, and that was a 70. Seth Rollins looked good in that. Next up we had Miss Paige, and she was basically hyping up her client Jacob Fatu. Now what it is here is, I had the promise that Mr. AJ Styles would put over Jacob Fatu. Both were heels and had a limited time, so we had them all team up together. Of course Ortiz was with Miss Paige as well, but he's gone because Santana is now here and obviously wanted to keep them away from Miss Paige with the poor chemistry between Ortiz and Paige. So the idea here was that she's hyping up Jacob Fatu. Jacob basically beat down AJ Styles, that turned AJ Styles babyface. to allow today's matchup. Whether Jacob's going to run as a solo act with Paige's manager or a tag team is to be decided, but at this moment in time, the promo's a 51, and his victory over AJ Styles in 11:31 with Samoan drop was a 68. Good pairing, of course, with Jacob and Miss Paige, and AJ does a good job here, but looking forward to him as a babyface. There's a plan in place for him post this wee mini feud, but had to make use of the promise, and hopefully something that elevates Jacob Fatu. Next up was a promo from Charlotte Flair, and this is someone else who was happy to put someone over. A couple of defeats to Liv Morgan has got, Liv in a very good position. But Charlotte says here Liv's got lucky very often recently. That ends tonight. She ends this fairy tale and she defeats her. So naturally, and about that had decent reaction from the crowd, but subpar wrestling, Liv Morgan defeats Charlotte Flair in 10:43 with a roll-up. It's a 62, it's just building as much depth to the division as possible. If we get many people at a good level, it just makes it better for the women's roster going forward. This match was regular and a good win for Liv. Next to the promo with Big E, Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston, the New Day. Big E's got an IC title match against Johnny Gargano, and this promo was really just a case of allowing Xavier Woods and Kofi to big up their teammate as he goes into this matchup. Match itself was good. Johnny Gargano defeats Big E though in 15:52 with Hurt's Donut following interference from Candice LeRae, his manager, and his wife of course, and Johnny Gargano makes the 18th defence of the IC title. It's a 10-month reign as IC champion, a solid 80 matchup, 70 for Big E, 78 for Johnny Gargano, and Xavier Woods doing some good work at ringside, so overall good there. Johnny Wrestling continues to do well, and that was just a regular match as well, which is good. A little bit disappointing Big E struggled in the stamina department. Next up, with a poor matchup that saw Santana and Ortiz defeat the Usos in 12:43 when Santana pinned Jey Uso. This means that Santana and Ortiz win the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. So a 64, Jey was off his game. So I basically had the two of them when Santana's contract was signed just to attack the Usos, and I thought, let's give them an impact straight away. Let's put the titles on them straight away. So they've taken over the SmackDown Tag Division. There was a temptation to put them on Raw, but a match against the Usos, a feud against the Usos was too good to turn down. And hopefully we can have a fairly strong tag division on SmackDown. As I say, just because it is fantasy booking, if an AEW talent becomes available and we can attack aggressively, we'll go for it. Some of them will sign for us, some of them won't. We didn't get Chris Statlander, we didn't get Anna Jay. There's been a few others we haven't gotten. So it doesn't mean for certain we're going to just sign everybody from AEW. Some will reject us. And then they celebrate after the match, which was a 59. We then moved on to the Raw Tag Team Championships. It was about that had subpar wrestling and little heat. And the Undisputed Era defeated the Street Profits in 9:38 when Kyle O'Reilly pinned Angelo Dawkins with a handful of the tights. The UE make the 5th defence of the Raw Tag Team Championships. 63 matches decent. I've not really had a strong Raw Tag division. I've not really booked them particularly great. It's a weird brand Raw at the moment. It's so stacked, but it's back to 3 hours because there's so many athletes on it. But there is big changes coming on Raw, so I feel like at the moment it's best to keep the titles on the Undisputed Era. Moving along, a man that's had a good rise recently has been Kevin Owens. Despite his physical decline, I've put him on a bit of a push because I know he can talk well, and KO's pretty damn cool in real life, so let's give him that push. Continues the US title storyline, although it's not for the US title, it's just a match between these two. They just happen to be in that particular storyline, but Kevin Owens came across very well. And the match itself was good, but it saw Angel Garza defeat Kevin Owens in 14:29 with a handful of the tights. Mr. Money in the Bank, Angel Garza takes the win. Makes perfect sense here. KO's had a good run, getting him good momentum, good popularity. But Angel Garza will hopefully benefit from this, although this is the first show I've booked in a 1.16 patch, which by now will follow about 1.20. But by the time this goes live, but this is the first time where the bigger pop swings at pay-per-views have been nerfed a wee bit, so I'll be intrigued to see the results of that. Promo now, Universal title time, as Matt Riddle says, bro, this Karrion Kross is good, man, he's submitting people, but you know my MMA background and I know what to look out for. I think I'll be fine, bro. So an 81, that's our highest promo, so it means matches are going to have to deliver in the main event if that's only an 81 so far. And the match itself was not particularly as good as I was hoping. It did have superb wrestling and great heat, as Matt Riddle defeats Karrion Kross in 23:38 by stoppage, when Karrion Kross could not continue making the second defence of his Universal title. I didn't want him pinned, I didn't want him to tap out, so I thought, do you know what, let's just go ahead and just have the ref throw the match up there. So happy with that. 1988 tells me they do well. They do have great chemistry together, but the lack of selling, both guys kind of like, nah, I don't want to sell, really affected this. So this probably could have been in the mid-80s possibly. So a wee bit disappointed with the 78, but Matt Riddle continues to be the Universal Champion. Probably was a bit too soon as well to take the title off Riddle, having only won it in April. Drew then gets the best promo so far with his hyping up Adam Cole, so we're already at main event time. Hopefully this main event does do very well because it's going to affect our pop for sure. It's 3 good workers, 3 over workers. And it looks like we'll have a very meh pay-per-view. But it was about the had superb wrestling and great heat. And we had Andrade defeat Drew McIntyre and Adam Cole in 28:05 when Andrade pinned Adam Cole with a Brilliante driver. And he makes the third defence of the WWE Championship. So, an 82. Psychology is a big factor here that's going to cost us from probably being about an 87, I'd imagine. Now, what we need to look at here, a few accounts says this match went 28 minutes, so maybe it was just a case of if it was a shorter match-up, their psychology stats would have been fine. If not, we might just need to look at getting some workers over that are just really good with psychology, and then allowing them to kind of hopefully pass those psychology stats over to some of our workers that are going to be in the future. But a bit disappointing, but yeah, we'll see how that finishes up and we'll see where we go from there. So I'll have a wee look into that and see what the stats are. 82, we increase our pop in 1 region. Overall it's a pretty decent show though, I'm not too disheartened. I wonder though, would that 1 region either be where we were or be the 1 region that we needed? So that'll be intriguing. We'll jump back into the main screen while we're here because this gives us an opportunity as well to check the various of the year awards so far, because we are at the halfway point. I've got a feeling it is going to be another year of New Japan dominance, but we'll have an idea. While it's loading as well, the next video you'll see will be NXT in your house. I had to move that back 3 weeks because there's a big debut coming up at the event, and yeah, I kind of had to delay because there's people I'm moving to the main roster that I kind of needed to lose something as well. So yeah, all that's to come in the next episode, and hopefully it goes down really well, because it's going to be a big change for NXT, especially after SummerSlam. So Wrestler of the Year so far is actually went to Kenny Omega. He's had some very good matches with AEW that I've noticed popping up. Company of the Year so far, New Japan. Team of the Year has been Kenny Omega and Jon Moxley. Match of the Year, Kenny Omega defeated Cody. I've had no matches anywhere near what AEW is getting, which is a wee bit why I want to change the product a bit. Show of the Year went to New Japan Pro Wrestling Domination on the 14th of June. Young Wrestler of the Year has went to Jungle Boy. Veteran Wrestler of the Year has went to Chris Jericho. Tessa Blanchard wins Female Wrestler of the Year despite barely being used so far, although she did win the Rumble and get a match at Mania. So maybe you should actually give her an opportunity going forward. And the Independent Wrestler of the Year so far has went to Ultimo Guerrero at the age of 49. However, we have moved up to being a bigger company. We are now Titanic. So now we can make that gamble going forward. I'll need to sort all this out. There's some debuts if you wanted to know who was signing. But yeah, hopefully that can give us a big boost in not just revenue, that's not really important, but financially sound. We'll then look forward to increasing the, as I say, the product, and hopefully it can get people through the pop cap as well. As I say, there's a few people there. Oh, Adam Cole's took a bit of a hit there, as we can see. So we'll make the change of product. That'll take place before Extreme Rules. That'll be our first kind of pay-per-view booking it with it. And yeah, we'll see what happens from then on. So thank you very much for watching. I say next video is in your house, and hopefully I'll see you for that. So thanks for watching. See you soon. Bye bye.